Hello guys, and welcome to the Real Things Podcast. If you are new here, welcome. Kindly subscribe, leave a like, and also a comment on your way in. And for my returning subscribers, welcome back to the Real Things. One family, me say. So guys, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you were in a relationship and your kids, if any, are not needed around? They're rejected by your supposedly significant other. So, I was watching a program, and the program was about this young lady along with her sister who was rejected and abused by her mother's significant other, along as long as maybe over the span of 13 years. Her mother rejected her, turned a blind eye to all that was happening, and now she's coming out to speak, which is the young lady is coming out to speak about the tragedies that she faced over the span of the 13 years. So, while watching the program, I was like, my God, this is something that is happening all over. I've seen this in real life so many times where these people will go and get involved in relationships and tend to turn a blind eye that these kids were never wanted around, that their kids are never wanted around, and all that this other party that they're involved with, all that this person is about is just to get in the relationship and to get whatever they can, and nothing else, no attachments. It is really sad, and it was really gut-wrenching to see what this young lady had to go through over the 13 years. So her father left, and for whatever reason, and they just couldn't get along with the mother, so the mother took other partners over the span of the 13 years, and it appears as if none of them actually wanted her around, wanted this child around. She also had a smaller sister, and the neglect and abuse that they suffered at the hand of both the mother and the partners, man, it was gut-wrenching. And it's a wake-up call, really, because us as women sometimes tend to go in neck deep and tend to be smitten with whoever it is that we are involved with, and get caught up, and then tends to neglect the real issues that is staring us, down in our face. So it got so bad in the story with this young lady that at one point she lashed out at everything and everybody that was around her, just trying to call for help. She lashed out at her mother when the mother tried to correct her about anything, because now she was getting older, and the mother was, the older sometimes when the adolescent or the teenager stage kick in, kids tend to behave different. Sometimes they become non-vocal, and they will operate more harsh. They would want to not respond when you speak. Instead, they would act out, slam doors, so on and so forth. So the mother was trying to correct her about something, and the retaliation that this young lady she retaliated by taking a knife to the mother's hand, and the cops were called and she was sent off to one of those the juvenile centers. Can you imagine, from one tragedy to the next? One, your father leaving. Two, you suffered years of abuse. Sometimes she said that they would be left, without food. If the mother is gone to work, they would be left without food. They would be hungry. They would suffer at the hands of these partners that the mother had. And even the mother would in return treat them in some hostile ways that they didn't expect, because even if they would try to complain to the mother about whatever injustice was done, she would be so rough and so harsh with them, and her only method of dealing was punishment. And she was always bitter and unhappy, and direct her feelings towards the eldest one, which was this young lady who was telling the story. We need to come out of ourselves sometimes and remember that kids too have feelings. And when we leave from relationship and heading into a new one, we need to remember that sometimes, you have to kind of coax your significant other, allow them to sense out the situation, to feel out the situation before you yourself dive long into it. And that's why people just date instead of committing fully immediately. So I could understand that each circumstance is going to be different, and who am I to stay here and to judge? But I'm just saying that sometimes people need to date, just date before being committed fully, because then we get ourselves in these kind of long-term situations, and especially in a delicate matter where kids are neglected, unattended to. They're not tended to one, and being pushed aside, doing poorly in school and nobody paying attention, going to school hungry, not bathing, not no clean clothes, and it's not really, it's just flat out being neglected. If the mother is gone to work, whoever is left home to look after. If the father is gone to work, whoever is left home to tend to these kids, just do not get the time of day from these step parents. And sometimes when you see children retaliate, us as parents need to dig deep in the matter. What is happening? Why are you behaving in this manner? Ask questions. It was such a gut-wrenching story, and in the end, the young lady was sent off to a juvenile center, leaving her smaller sister behind. And she said at that age where she was so nervous because she knows that it's going to be more problems. It's going to be double problem double treatment this time, because then the way how they treated her so harsh, now everything is going to be on the sister alone, So she was afraid, basically. She was afraid for the sister being left behind. Imagine you have a child and the child is afraid. The child is afraid to leave the other one because of how you, the parent, is going to treat that child. Just imagine. So she was sent to a juvenile center, and then when she came back out, it was even worse, because how she came and met things, it was worse. And at this point in time, her mother was now basically blaming her and pointing the finger at her for everything that is happening or has happened in her life. Now, I think while watching the story, I was saying that this mother probably had needed some mental evaluation, because mental health struggles are real, and sometimes we get into situation and we can't get out, and I see a lot of parents tend to take it out on kids. Because I remember at one point I was living somewhere and I used to hear a father used to beat a daughter like baby every day, so bad. And you know, as kids, and we would go to school together, we investigate, ask why would your father beat you, and you know what it is that you've done wrong. And at one point, you know, we were made to understand, as young as we were made to understand that he beats her because he's angry that her mother left her with him. So it goes back to the young lady now. When she came out of the juvenile detention center, her mother began to blame her for every single thing that happened, and the reason why she treated them in that manner is because of the child's behavior, which is the resentment, the way how she behaves, she retaliates, so on and so forth. But sometimes kids retaliate, kids behave in a particular way because they do not communicate, they don't know how to, and they will behave in a radical way because they do not know otherwise. So at the end, the story wraps up with her, with the young lady being hauled off to a home for girls, and there she became a drug addict. So you see the tragedy, all because of resentment, and she became a drug addict, hard drugs at a tender age of 13. Can you imagine? And I think she ended up being on the other side. She took on a relationship being on the other side because she started, you know, going with girls based on the fact that she was probably in the home for girls, so on and so forth, and doing drugs. And I think it ended up her being there for 4 years, and becoming 17, 18, she was old enough now to get out and to be able to have a job and get a place of her own. But it's sad to say that, you know, this is the end product of being resented. Because if you follow the story all the way down, it's because that she did not get the attention. She never felt love. She never felt accepted. So all that played out was that she was feeling like she came into this world, she was brought into this world only to be rejected. So the moral of the story is, sometimes as parents, be it man or woman, as parents we need to pay attention to what we're getting involved with, who we are getting involved with, especially when children are involved. We have to pay keen attention. You have some real good-hearted people out there that would take a child, take your children, take you, and no headache, nothing. They will just accept everybody for who they are and work with it like you become daddy or mommy automatically. Nobody miss nobody, and they just continue living as a happy family. But for me, I will tell you the honest truth. If I'm going to get involved into something where my kids are not going to be accepted, that is a no-no, red flag, straight up. I am out of here. I would not settle for anything or anyone that is going to leave my kids behind. No. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, and we will discuss right there. Let us meet there in the comment section, and come again with me here on the podcast next week. Once again, thank you for making it here, and we'll chit chat next week, same time, same place. Walk good. God bless.